أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. خلق الإنسان من علق. اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى إن إلى ربك رجعا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Translation. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clot of congealed blood. Read, and your Lord is most generous, who taught knowledge by the pen, taught man that which he did not know. No, indeed, man transgressed rebelliously, because he sees himself self-sufficient. Indeed, to your Lord is the return. Jazakallah. Jazakallahu khairan kasira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Ms. Sumaida Banu. I now request Dr. S. Akhtar Begum, Associate Professor, Department of Business Administration, Justice Bashir Ahmed Said College for Women, afternoon session to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Preeti. I quote, a good faculty can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. Brett Henry, I unquote. International Faculty Development Program on Professional Progressions in Commerce and Management. Welcome speech, Day 4. Resource person, Mrs. Nirmala Guru. Topic, the emotionally intelligent leader. Respected principal, respected vice principal, heads of the department, international and national participants, and all my dear friends. Assalamu alaikum and good evening to one and all present here. On behalf of the management, Principal Dr. Amtul Aziz, Vice Principal Dr. Firdaus Jahan, and Dr. Barkar, Dean of Business Studies, Head, Department of Corporate Secretaryships and Information System Management, my colleagues and other present here. I heartily welcome the resource person, Mrs. Nirmala Guru, for her presence in this platform to share her knowledge. I take this opportunity to welcome our most respected principal, Dr. Amtul Aziz, who is the pillar of support for our esteemed institution. I also have great pleasure in welcoming our vice principal, Dr. Firdaus Jahan, the guiding factors behind all our activities. I'm glad to respectfully and cordially introduce the resource persons of this evening, Mrs. Nirmala Guru. Mrs. Nirmala Guru from Qatar, ICF Certified Leadership, Coach and Seasoned Organizational Development Consultant, who works with organization individuals who want to realize their potential. She is a premier speaker and leadership and self-mastery with cutting-edge talks based on research, solutions, and insight. She holds a master's in public administration with specialization in organizational development and behavior. With a dynamic track record of more than 18 plus years of experience in the field of sales, training, and management in diverse industries. She is an avid reader, a passionate learner, believing in continuous learning. She lives on the words plain living and high thinking. It is a great pleasure to welcome such a noble personality as a chief guest this evening. So on behalf of all present here, welcome you, madam. I welcome all the participants to the FTB. We are truly delighted with your presence. Last but not least, I welcome and thank all my colleagues and friends for taking a keen part in the FTP and making it successful. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Akhtar Begum, our illustrious alumna and an exemplary student who has always given back to her alma mater. Thank you, Madam Nirmala, for agreeing to share your expertise with us. It would be a great pleasure to invite you to take over the session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Preeti and Dr. Akhtar Beham. And it's a great, indeed, a pleasure and a privilege to be here amongst great minds here. And thanks so much. And it's going to be consecutively for the second year that I'm here. It is certainly a sense of great belongingness that I share with Jebas, which undoubtedly is absolutely mind blowing that I have still connection and still our relationship is going so strong emotionally and definitely academically as well. Thank you so very much. And yes, today we have a very different topic for you people. And especially on all these days, we have been with Commerce and Management Department exploring more topics on professional ethics and global businesses, if I'm not wrong. But today's topic is little going to be on a wider basis, so that we get indulged in ourselves and explore within ourselves. So I would say today's topic is going to be something that we are going to share our feelings, our emotions on. And that's the reason why I chose the topic to be as the emotionally intelligent leader. Now, you might have a question in your mind thinking that, why are we talking about leaders here? As a leadership coach and an ardent follower of self-leadership, I've devoted around 18 years of my experience being in the field of being a leadership coach. And I think every single individual, every human being on this earth is definitely a leader. And what could be a better platform than this, with amidst great minds of faculty, where we are talking about leadership and being exceptionally emotionally intelligent leader. So thanks so much for having this topic discussed over today. And I hope and I sincerely pray that each one of us be with me, so that this is going to be an in-depth and an interesting exploration of ourselves and our relationship with others. All right. Having said that, please give me a moment. I need to take up my, screen for you to have the PowerPoint presentation to look onto. And in the meanwhile, you people could just drop in the chat box saying whether I'm audible, whether I'm clear, and how are we all feeling today?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. We have muted all the participants. And I request the participants to type in your questions in the chat box, because we will have the question and answer session towards the end. Thank you.
Right. As Dr. Preeti just remarked, you could have your chat box filled in with how you're feeling today. You know, that would be great, because we are going to talk about all our emotions and feelings. So I would love to have your understanding or how you are feeling today evening, so that we could take it from there. Okay. We have around 93 participants. Okay, I just started receiving the response. Pleasant evening. Okay, pleasant evening to you. Great, very good, ma'am. All right. More feelings expected from this 93 people here. Topic is interesting. Okay.
Ma'am, kindly excuse me. We have also going live in YouTube. So there are some participants watching live in YouTube as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Dr. Preeti, if you could help me with any interesting comments over there, if you have a hand on that, that would be great as well.
Sure, ma'am. I'll get it done.
Yeah, perfect. Right, we are getting feedbacks. You're saying that excellent and happy evening, interesting topic. Right, superb start. Okay, thanks for that, Dr. Shanti. Expecting more. Okay. All right, how are we feeling? Are we feeling happy? Are we feeling enthusiastic? Are we feeling really energetic? Or are we feeling a little dull? I heard Chennai is experiencing a lot of rainfall. Are we with the rain or the breeze over there? So, yes, okay, all right. So, I wouldn't keep you people waiting for the topic. Let's dive in. Right? Now, emotional intelligence. I'm sure you people must have heard about this term, emotional intelligence. More about intelligence is what we have been hearing from, as these people nowadays say, 80s kids, 90s kids, 2K kids. We have been hearing about a lot about intelligence. Emotional intelligence has gained a lot of momentum these days because this is something which started late in 1990s, to get in touch with what emotionally a human being feels, how people react to their feelings, how people accept and understand their feelings, how they manage their emotions. That is what is a great deal of understanding about this topic that we have. But to tell you very frankly, emotional intelligence is more than that. Emotional intelligence is very, very important as a human being because EI refers to the skills of perceiving, understanding, managing, and using your own emotions. And definitely going a step further, understanding and having a deeper awareness of how others are feeling, how others are managing, and how others perceive their own emotions, so that we build upon a good, productive relationship within ourselves and with others as well. So this emotional intelligence is a kind of a tool, like we say in management language. A communication is kind of a tool that gives one a hedge to present himself or herself in the world of corporate, or in the world of anywhere you need to go and talk to. You need to have your communication really lined up very well. Certainly, the emotional intelligence is also a very specialized tool that is very, very important, not just in your not just in the world of work, that is your professional life, but it is also very important in your personal life as well. Why? Because, to put it very simply, emotional intelligence it makes your life easier. It makes your life easier. It gives you a content in life. I can give you a quote on this. Basically, success doesn't give that contentment. Fulfillment, definitely, fulfillment is what is needed for contentment. And emotional intelligence is one such tool which is going to give you the awareness of yourself and the people around and the situation around, so that you get that contentment more easily. So it makes your job more harmonious, and a productive relationship is developed. So why not accept this tool? Now, there are many there are many disputes among people saying that, questioning the importance of emotional intelligence, because, all those conventional and traditional ideas that we have got is definitely questioned and definitely put on the stand of like whether it is needed or not. The argument continues, and it takes a lot of resistance. It takes a lot of time to chew away those resistance that we have within ourselves to adopt something new. But emotional intelligence is something now in the platform of the management and business, or I would say in any professional arena, it is questioned. It is questioned as to whether this emotional intelligence can be learned. Is it a learnable skill, or is it a skill which is definitely inherited? Is it like it should be in our DNA, that we are very calm person by our genes, or is it a very special skill, like any other skill, like the skill of decision making, like the skill of communication, as I mentioned? Emotional intelligence can be learned or not. This is highly debatable. But trust me, I've got an experience of 18 years, as I shared with you. I have been working with leaders of all the, of most of these spheres of departments that's around business, education, or even in the psychological departments, where I have seen people from, very, very large spaces, to people from even small business owners, to faculties, where they have been doing exceptionally well when they have capitalized on emotional intelligence. Now, what is exactly emotional intelligence? Why is this term so fancy? Or why is this term like, okay, emotional intelligence is something great? Because we have been always having this, idea of intelligent quotient, IQ, if you could relate to that. People say that this person has got a big IQ, the number is big, or this person is really intelligent. Now, in the same manner, we can also relate ourselves to being emotionally intelligent person. Now, EI is very simple, but at the same time, it is also full of in-depth understanding. EI is simple. I'll make it very simple for you. It is something like how you feel about yourself, knowing how you feel about yourself and how you could feel about others, and how you are working within yourself on your relationship, within yourself, self relationship, and how you manage and control the relationship with others. Now, that simply is what is EI is all about. But my question is, how do we deal with feeling about the emotional intelligence? How are we doing this? Is it quite easier or is it difficult? What do you feel? Is it easier to have our emotions controlled, managed, or understood, or is it difficult? You could use the chat box for your answer. What do you think? I'm sure we are all a group of faculties here. Yes. So I'm sure we must have dealt with difficult situations. Yes, mix of both. All right, difficult. All right. What do you think? Is it easier to handle your emotions, to understand your emotions? Can be learned. Okay, difficult. Right. Okay, the average or most of you have been giving me answers as challenging and difficult. All right. So, my next question, as it should follow, what do we do to have it manageable? Or how do we take this challenge? How are we dealing with these emotions? What do you do as a person when how you handle your emotions, or how you handle your feelings? Accept as it is. Very good. Right. That's a good answer there. Okay. Any other answer? Any other answer? How do you deal with your emotions? I'm sure like you must be having, I do something interesting which I like the most and go ahead. Very good, very good. Absolutely. In any difficulties, always smile. I like that answer too. Okay, always smile. Deep thoughts. Adopt crisis management skills. That is quite deep. Okay. I always tell my clients, even though it is something related with the memes that we get nowadays, the comedian Vadivelu's memes. It's usually like the foundations. We are all like human beings where our foundations are very strong, but the basement, something is little weaker there. We are working towards that weak point or that vulnerable point where we need to fine tune it. And as you are understanding, and as I am understanding from your chats, you people are doing really great where you say it is deep. And most importantly, we need to accept our emotions and feelings. That's absolutely right. The three key things that we need to do when we have emotions is, first, understand, that is accepting your emotions. Second is acknowledging the emotions. And third is working towards your emotion. That is absolutely what is needed. Now, before we go ahead and deal with our emotions, let's understand what is the basic difference between IQ and EQ. Now, IQ, as I just mentioned to you, IQ is a number. It's basically where you are representing a person's reasoning ability, how logical you are. That is through your IQ. Now, when it comes to EQ, it's a little more complicated, but it is it is perception of your own. You don't need somebody to come and estimate your IQ. You don't need somebody to come and tell you how intelligent you are, right? EQ is the ability to perceive, evaluate, and control your own emotions. Like you just mentioned, you need to understand it, accept it, acknowledge it, and work on it. Now, IQ stands for intelligence quotient, whereas the EQ stands for emotional quotient that we all know. Now, the third point is very important here. It involves the knowledge and the skills we acquire throughout the life and our ability to reason, to solve problems, understand abstract information. Now, my point here is this IQ is being taught from day one in school life. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. This is what we have been learning from day one in our school life. And whatever degrees we accumulate, our academic qualification is all going to add up to your IQ level. Now, this IQ is being taught in schools, colleges, universities, and where not. But EQ specifically comes from your life experiences. Now, EQ is something where you are experiencing on your own. There is no teacher for EQ. But there are teachers outside where you observe them, see how they are dealing with situations, and you learn from the situation, and you learn seeing them, how they are role modeling the situation. That is your observation skill, which adds on to your EQ level. Now, as I'm telling you, basically EQ is learned or acquired through your experience. Now we are going a step further and we are learning our EQ, which is a learnable skill. We are getting knowledge about it so that it adds on to your personal and your professional capability, and you can step on. You can go one step further or make yourself the best version by understanding, perceiving, manipulating, or controlling sometimes and managing your emotions to suit the situation better, right? So EQ is a key part of the whole person. Now, this figure will tell you IQ and EQ is going to be something both you need for your personality development. Now, if you ask me, as a coach, I don't trust or I don't believe in the way that people go about saying that. Personally, I'm a different person. When it comes to professional life, I'm totally a different person. I don't carry work to home. Now, you definitely can't do that, right? It is, you cannot compartmentalize yourself as I don't carry my personal things to work to personal things. It doesn't work that way. We are human beings and we certainly combine both the things in our mind, and that is how we are. And it is quite understandable. By nature, we are like that. So emotional intelligence is an essential part of the whole person, where it helps you to deliver both in your professional life and in your personal life to be the best in both levels. So if you ask me, rather than going behind the abstract informations, it is important to value our experiences, gain knowledge from the experiences that we have learned, and work on those so that our EQ becomes better, right? And that is the most important thing that I would like to comment, because EQ is something which is going to give you 80% of success, both in your personal and in your professional life. 20% comes from your IQ. This is not the opinion of me as Nirmala Guru. It is the opinion, or it is a research that has been given by University of London, where they have given this figure saying that 20% of your success is laid on your intelligent quotient, and 80% of your success comes from your emotional quotient. So you need to be really working on your emotional quotient. And I think that is one of the main criteria why we are here today, learning about the emotional quotient, so that we can pass it on to generations. This is a topic that I wanted to discuss with the faculties, because certainly faculties are the bridge where you are experiencing something and you are educating what you have experienced to the next generation. So emotional quotient is something very, very essential, not only in your professional path, but also in your personal path. And it is more important to understand what we think about perceiving emotions. Now, perceiving emotion is the first step. Perceiving emotion, as somebody rightly said, we need to first take a look at it, take a notice of it. It is not something like it is just going to be like, okay, I'm sad. Why are we sad? Now, when I'm talking about why are we sad, I'm going a little deeper, right? So I'm thinking like I'm trying to get the understanding of why I'm being sad. So that is perceiving emotion. Now, how could you perceive emotion? How could you perceive emotion? We can just label saying that I'm happy today. We can just label saying that I'm sad today. Now, how could you make or perceive that emotion rather than labeling? How could you notice that emotion? Have you ever thought about this? We have been in a practice of labeling our emotions. But now I'm asking you to do something a little different, where I'm trying to bring in the concept of perceiving the emotion. How are we getting a notice of our emotion? Now, right now, what is in your mind? Right now, you might be thinking, this topic is interesting, or this lady is talking sense. Or you might also be thinking, this is absolute waste of time. This is not going to give me anything, right? So there could be a two-way of play in your mind. Now, how are we perceiving it? How are we perceiving it? Okay, there's one person giving me an answer, looking into inner self. Absolutely, that is my question. How do you look into inner self? How would you notice it? Okay, yes, I understand. What you are trying to tell me is, I feel sad, tired, something disturbing. Right. Now, what you're doing is, you're labeling it. Now, how are you perceiving it? How are you getting a notice of it? Articulate by testing my speed of performing activities. Okay, you are to it, but they could be something simpler, more simpler, right? How could we notice that we are feeling dash emotion? I could be happy, I could be angry, I could be sad. Exactly, based on your thoughts. Absolutely, based on your thoughts. Right. Now, when you are thinking, my next question is, when you are thinking, which comes first? Feeling comes first or your thoughts comes first? How are you deriving it? Okay, thoughts, feeling, okay, mixed opinions, thoughts, okay, right. Okay, only 4 people? Feelings and thoughts, yeah, but what is the primary? Feelings or thoughts? Thoughts, okay, right. Feelings followed by thoughts, very good, okay, right. Okay, I'll give you a fact. It is a figure. Again, this is a research-based figure. This could, this is the question I could ask you people. In an average, a person, a human being, what do you think? How many thoughts come inside your mind? In an average in a day, how many thoughts come in your mind? Or how many thoughts do you actually perceive? More than 1,000, okay. Can people please give me numbers, because I don't believe in just giving you informations. I need interactions, happiest moments, okay. I need numbers, people. How many thoughts do you think in a day you think? Uncountable, okay. Let's count it in maybe 300, okay, 300,000. Only 300, only 1,000? 50,000, okay, very good. Who's that? Miss Uma Devi. Okay. There are 136 people here. More than 250. Depends on situations. Okay. In an average, Dr. Mohammed. Okay. Yes, I'll give you the figure. Basically, an human being is said to have around 60,000 thoughts every single day. In an average, a person thinks around 60,000 thoughts. This is again a research-based figure from University of London, Medical University of London, where around 60,000 thoughts get inside our mind today, in an average, every day. So if you could see, there are around 60,000 thoughts. Multiply that with your feelings. Now, what are our feelings? Because as I was asking you this question, which comes first, feeling or thoughts? It's basically the feeling which derives or which drives the thoughts. So feelings comes first and then the thoughts. So around 60,000 thoughts is what an average person thinks. So you could multiply or you could equate it to the feelings that one is experiencing every single day. Right? So how could we notice our thoughts? We could notice our thoughts by taking a moment. Now, when you have noticed that you are feeling sad, take a moment. Take a moment, notice why you are sad. Perceive it. Okay, I had lost my keys in the morning. Probably that is why I'm sad today. Or I have had a good fight in the morning with the traffic police. That is why I am feeling mad today. I have had a bad day with my higher up. Probably that is why I am feeling dejected now. Those things needs to be noticed. If you want to be emotionally intelligent, you need to notice that. Otherwise, it's going to be completely, we are going to fall in the first step itself, right? Second, once you have perceived the emotion, now you need to use it properly. How would you use it? Now, if you're thinking, if you have a webinar to attend, and if you're still thinking about a argument with the traffic police that you had in the morning, you're not going to have the information that you want from the webinar. Or if you're running the webinar, even more the worse, right? You are not going to give it the full attention that is needed to run the webinar. So you are going to have your work in trouble, correct? So you need to use the information that you have perceived. Okay, this is the reason why I am sad. Now I will use this information for my good. I will make it for my use that I should not be sad now. Probably after everything, I can sit for a moment and see to that I am not doing it again. But now I need to concentrate on my work. So you need to stop. You will notice you will notice your emotion. Then you use the emotion, or you use the way you are sad to make it to right proportion to do your constructive work. Third is your understanding the emotion. The emotions that you perceive, it's a wide variety, right? It's a number of emotions that comes to us. But understanding emotions is very, very important. We can label the emotions, but what is important is the reason or the reasoning behind it. You need to have a logical reasoning behind it. Even though emotions has something to do with your inner connect, it also involves logic. So you need to have a logical reasoning behind your understanding your emotions. Once you understand the emotions, say for an instance, I am always being late to office, and that is going to put me in trouble. Now I have understood the feeling behind my emotion of being panic in the morning. I am panicking in the morning because I'm always late. So now I need to actually understand, okay, this is not right for me. So I need to manage my emotions very well. So it is a step-by-step process where you perceive your emotion, you use your emotion, you understand the emotions, and then you manage the emotions well, right? So any questions, please do let me know through the chat box, or we can take up the questions at the end as we discussed. So this is going to give you an idea of what comes first, feeling or thoughts. First comes your feeling, your emotions, you feel, and that is when you think about it. And once you think about it, your behavior is linked to your thoughts. Now, your behavior is going to affect your performance, positive or negative. That's in your choice. That's in your hands, right? Now, emotions is something that comes first, that stands first. As human beings, we are always on the survival mode. We have it in our DNA itself. So the emotions is going to be always there, right from where we have started. It is on the survival mode. It is always ready to have that button on, right? So emotions is something which is on the first level, and then comes the thoughts, and then the behavior, and then the performance. So being an emotionally intelligent leader, we need to understand the sequence, because once we understand the sequence, we can directly hit the spot. Okay, my performance is getting affected, or my students' performance is getting affected. Why? Because the behavior is not right. Why is the behavior not right? Because the thinking is not right, or the thinking is right. That is why the performance is at A level. Now, why is the thinking right or wrong? Because of the emotions. So the linking could be processed very fine here. So this is a very important thing, that if you could take something from this presentation, or from this seminar today, this could be the prime point where your performance level has a direct link to your emotions, right? So it is a consequence, it is a sequence level. So basically, your sequence and your consequence is interlinked, and this is what the link is. Now, talking about emotions, there are only four emotions that are on the primary level. Now, that could be, you could be glad, you could be happy about something, then you are sad, then you are scared about something, then you're mad about something. So you could just finally put it in your mind as glad, sad, mad, and scared. Now, these are the four primary emotions that gets played in every human being's mind. Now, these four emotions gets on to many emotions. Do you want to see how many emotions actually we perceive? Well, this is it. Now, this is a feeling wheel that we have here. Now, there's something very interesting I would like you people to take a note on. If you are in on a situation, the feeling wheel could help you come out of the situation, where a difficult situation or a good situation, where you could understand your feeling more better. Now, for instance, just give me a moment. I'm just enlarging it. Right. Now, if you could see, just please concentrate on the happy level of emotion, right? Now, when we are happy, we are having different feelings there. We are feeling playful, we are very content, we are interested, and we are very proud, we accepted, we feel powerful, we feel peaceful, trusting, optimistic, and so on. And that could raise many more emotions, from aroused to inspired. Now, let me get into this topic, where you could use how you could use your feeling wheel. Now, the feeling wheel is something where it can help you label your emotions, and clearly, logically, make you get there. Now, for instance, this tool is going to be helpful for your self-awareness. Now, suppose if you are too much interested in your job, if you are feeling inspired about your job, now you know that you are happy with your job. That is the reason you are feeling inspired about your job. Now, moving over to feeling sad. Okay? Just please relate to this. Now, if you find your job not interesting, if you are, you're not meeting with your targets, you feel guilty. If you're not giving your 100%, you feel guilty. And that is because you are not reaching your targets, or not giving your 100%, not feeling your full potential is used. So that makes you sad. That makes you depressed, right? And with your depressed state, you are feeling inferior. Now, you might ask me, okay, Nirmala, I understand this. Four primary emotions are fine. Now, why am I to learn about all these, there are around 60 odd emotions. Why am I going to read about all this? This is because when we are feeling accepted or when we are feeling embarrassed on the other side, we need to know why is it so. When we are working on the deeper level of our awareness, we can get better, and it not only helps us getting better, you could also make others better. And when we are making others better, you are put on a higher stand for them. You're going to have a lovely relationship with the other person, be it a student, be it a co-worker, be it your family member. It's going to be more impressive. What do I say? More impressive, and your relationship is going to go to places. So it's a very important tool where we call it as a feeling wheel, which is really helpful when once you learn about it, right? Right. Moving over, we have something very interesting where your emotional intelligence gets into the four domains. Now, emotional intelligence first level is understanding oneself, how you are feeling, how you are understanding your own emotions. That is your self awareness. Once you are aware about your emotions, now you could go beyond one step and manage it, right? Not control it, but manage it. Now, you might have heard me saying that controlling your emotions. When you start controlling your emotions, sometime or the other, it is going to fail. But when you manage your emotions, it is a positive or an optimistic way of dealing with your emotions, right? So your integrity, how you could work with your integrity, how you could work with your resilience, how you could work with your achievement drive, or how you could pace out your goals, all comes under your self management. Now, when your awareness is at the peak, then your self management follows very easily. And once you could self manage yourself, then it is quite easy for you to have social awareness. Now, what is social awareness? It's the most primary thing, empathy. That is putting yourself in other person's shoe and putting yourself in other person's situation and seeing whether this is the way the other person wants me to talk to him or her, or this is the way he or she could be handled or understood. When you start thinking about others in that way, that is called your social awareness level, which gets inclined, which gets more towards being more towards working on your emotional intelligence level. Now, once you have your social awareness right, your relationship management becomes pretty easy. Now, developing others, as we all know, like working on the being a faculty, it's developing others is the primary target of us, right? Developing our students is one of the key elements of our job. So, developing others is great. And for developing others, what is most important is how could you be a powerful influence to your students? So that could be worked on when you have your self-awareness right, when you have your self-management right, and also when you could easily work on others' relationship. Now, your communication, your conflict management, every single aspect of bonding, everything comes together and it works as a collaboration where you could have your relationship management worked on in your perspective, in the way you wanted it to be, right? So you take actually a full control of your emotions and also the emotions of others and the situation, but at the same time respecting others' emotions, right? So this is the four domains of emotional intelligence. When if I need to sum it up, emotional intelligence is not reaction. Reaction is, or I let me put it like this: emotional intelligence is something where you respond to the situation or to the person. It is not reacting. Now, my question is, what do you think is the difference between reaction and responding? Is there a difference at all? Is there a difference between reaction and responding? Reaction, response. So can I expect response? Reaction is based on thoughts. Okay. Okay. So I think people are thinking about it. And that's why the slow response. No difference. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. We have. Now, if we have, what is it, please? Reaction is showing our anguish. Yes. Reaction is how you take up things, respond your answer to something. Okay. Response based on learning. Reaction is just throwing what's on your mind, and responding is handling logically. Absolutely, absolutely. I like this answer. Miss Bhavani is, it makes, it sounds more relating to what I have got to say. Reaction, people, is a simple. Reaction is understanding the situation and responding back. Okay. Well, I go with Miss Bhavani here, where reaction is you are just reacting to the situation. You're not thinking. The element of thinking is not there. Right? Simple. Where you are reacting to the situation. And responding is you are thinking and acting to the situation. Okay, this is a communication process, convey the message on that situation. Absolutely. Well, as I was telling you, reacting is you are acting, reacting to the situation. Responding is you are thinking and then acting on the situation. So that's the difference. And emotional intelligence is simply based on responding to the situation. You need to respond to the right situation at the right time to the right people. That is when you are emotionally being strong. And that is when you are emotionally intelligent as a leader. Right? Sorry, one moment. Right. Before we conclude for today, I would like to give you some tips on the situations where you can handle and you can take control of your self-talk. Now, self-talk, where I call it a self-chatter, sometimes what happens is in our mind, we always go chattering. Have you acknowledged it, or have you, noticed it? Sometimes we don't. There is not even a minute or a second when we are awake, we are not having the self-chatter, unless you are doing meditation or unless you are praying. Prayers also, sometimes we do have the self-chatter entering our mind. So the self-chatter is something which needs to have our complete notice, complete awareness. So take control of your self-talk there. And if you're not able to take control, count to 10, probably in the descending way, 10, 9, 8, 7, and then stop and then check on your self-chatter, whether it's happening. And as somebody remarked earlier, smile and laugh more. Learn a valuable lesson from everyone you encounter. This is something I put it as my, a slogan where I say every person has something to teach us. So whatever positive or whatever optimistic thing is coming from some person, we need to just ingrain it. We need to just imbibe it. So learn a valuable lesson from everyone you encounter that also makes that person very valuable. That makes the other person very, very valuable to us. Because you could always quote that person saying that this I have learned from this person, right? And I would like to make a statement here where I'd been blessed with great faculties, and coming from this institution, I had exceptionally great faculty who had helped me in a time of difficulty, where I still remember the place, I still remember the time, I still remember the words of that faculty. I don't know whether she remembers it, but she came to me and she said, you have great potential in you. And it was a time where I was about to, I was just in a very depressive mode of life. And these words from her has put me to run my life. She just mentioned, you have great potential in you. Why do you have to waste it for some people or some situation which is not going to, which doesn't worth you? or which doesn't understand your worth. These words from a great noble teacher has made me to, just take a turn of my life. So I would say every single person you meet in this world has something great to offer. Please have your eyes, ears, everything, senses open to just gulp it. Right? Okay. So before we end today, I wanted to have a small little session. This is a practice session that I conduct usually in my emotional intelligence training, where this session is something to do with your sense, where please be with me, where what we are going to do is we are going to have a mindfulness. I wouldn't call it a meditation, a mindfulness session, right? So I want you people to completely be with me on this. It's not going to take more time. So yeah, what we are going to do is some exercise where I want you people to notice 5 things in your surroundings. Notice 5 things in your surroundings which you have not noticed before. Notice 5 things in your surrounding which you have not noticed before. Yes, now. Please take a look around and notice 5 things that you have not noticed before, or probably you have not paid attention to. You have not paid attention to. Yes, Ms. Sukanya, you might be in your room where you know all the things, but try to locate 5 things where you have not paid attention to. It could be a small speck of dirt on the wall. I'm just giving you an example. It could be a small little scribbling on the wall. Okay? If you have done, can you please give me a thumbs up? Right. Okay, if you have found something unusual, you could mention that too. Like somebody has mentioned. Okay. For people who couldn't find anything, I would advise you, or I would recommend you to notice it again, probably at your leisure. All right. All right. Okay. The second thing, the second exercise that we are going to do, notice or hear 4 different sounds. Notice 4 different sounds in your surrounding. It could be very obvious ones, like your fan spinning, like the TV next door or TV next room. Notice 4 different sounds. It could be usual sounds, no worries on that. But notice 4 different sounds. Wow, House still, that's one thing that we miss in Qatar here. We don't learn house. Somebody is on, somebody has unmuted. Please mute yourself.
Kindly mute your audio, please.
Mantu, yes. Wonderful, wonderful people. Thank you so much. And the third thing that we are going to observe is notice, or I would say, right. What are the smells, the fragrance, or some odor that you could inhale? Notice 3 different smells, fragrance, or odor that you could inhale. Notice 3. Try to notice 3. You should be able to smell your food or some, yeah, if you're outside, even yes, oh, that's interesting. Tomato ketchup, sambar smell, love that people. Cooking, yes. Agarbatti, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. But just don't give me what all smells nice, okay? Probably something would smell very odd. That also, please notice. Okay. Right. Excellent. We go to the next one. 2 different tastes in your mouth. 2 different tastes in your mouth. 2 different tastes. What you're right now feeling. What you're right now observing. I am not asking you for general. What you're right now observing. No taste at all? Lunch? Or evening coffee? Bitter, chocolate. Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Salt. Okay. Tonic. Okay. Right. The last one. The last one. Take a moment. Take a deep breath. The last one. What is one feeling you would label now, present, your actual now? One feeling. Okay. All right. That's the end of the exercise, people. Thank you so much. This is called the 5 sense exercise or mindfulness meditation or session that we do in all our emotional intelligence seminars or workshops. And emotional intelligence is something is not pretty easy, to get through. But however, it's something very important that we work on it, because emotional intelligence is not just the umbrella that you carry. You just can't leave it outside the door and work or be at home without emotions. It doesn't happen. As we are human beings, we are to have emotions. And why not have right emotions? That's the only idea behind this class and behind this seminar. So I enjoyed having this delivered to you. I hope the little information, whatever has been delivered, has been meaningful to you and informative too. So that's it from my side. And I wish you all the very best to have a great emotional intelligence carried forward from this session. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Preeti.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your elaboration on perceiving, managing, and using and understanding emotional intelligence made us feel how important it is for leadership. And you well explained the requirement for a leverage between IQ and EQ, as it is very important for the faculties. And the feeling wheel on various types of emotions was beyond level. And your version on mindfulness was outstanding. And in fact, you had already done half of my job of asking questions and people replying in chat. But still, participants, if there are any questions, kindly post your questions in the chat box. We will go ahead and take some time for questions now. Ma'am, both in YouTube as well as in the chat box here in Zoom, we've been receiving only excellent feedback about the session. We have not received any question, and we're constantly receiving no questions at all. Participants, I would like to remind you all that the feedback link is posted in the chat box. Kindly fill the feedback for all the 7 days to get the e-certificate.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Preeti, for those, kind words. And I think without questions, I am not sure like how much I have delivered where people are exceptionally finding it interesting going without questions. But however, I take it the compliments as really, really meaningful and inspirational so that it works for them as well. And thank you so much, Jabaz, having me again. And thanks, Dr. Preeti.
Thank you once again, ma'am. And we have with us now Dr. Nazira Parveen, Assistant Professor, Department of Corporate Secretaryship and Information Systems Management, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Preeti. I quote the words of Bill George. Leadership is not defined by IQ, it's defined by emotional intelligence. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, and today to one and all present here virtually. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. First of all, I thank the Almighty God for having showered His blessings and grace upon all of us. On behalf of the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, Information Systems Management and Business Administration, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our speaker for the day's host, Ms. Nirmala Guru, leadership coach and organizational development consultant, CEO, Guru Coaching and Consulting LLC, Doha, Qatar, who spared time for us from her busiest schedule to enlighten us with a commendable talk on the subject, Emotional Intelligent Leadership, Wheels of Emotional Tools, Self-Starter, with few exercises given to the audience, which is the need of an hour in the present scenario. This will surely help us in handling it more effectively and efficiently. Indeed, you have made this program more interesting and unforgettable, ma'am. I place on the record our gratitude to the management and our beloved principal, Dr. Amtul Aziz, for the constant support and encouragement in all our endeavors. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Firdaus Jahan, Vice Principal and Head of the Department of Business Administration, and Dr. Barakat, Dean of Business Studies, Head of the Department of Corporate Secretaryship and Information Systems Management, without whose effort, guidance and support, we would have not been able to carry out this huge event. My thanks are due to Mr. Joshua Jara, Chief Operating Officer, Tamil Nadu, Advanced Technical Training Institute, Chennai, who accepted our offer in collaboration with the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, Information Systems Management and Business Administration of Justice Bashir Ahmed Sayed College for Women to host the 7-day International Faculty Development Program on professional progression in commerce and management. My heartfelt thanks to the FDP technical team coordinator for their valuable contribution, guidance, and encouragement in the successful conduct of the program. I extend my thanks to all my fellow faculty members of the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, Information Systems Management, and Business Administration for their efforts and cooperation in the successful completion of the fourth day of 7-day International Faculty Development Program. Last but not the least, I thank the participants globally and from different states all over India who showed an overwhelming response to our invitation and made the 7-day International Faculty Development Program a grand success. I thank each one of you for participating and interacting virtually. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nazira, for the exhaustive thanks note. I once again repeat, the feedback form is posted in the chat box. Kindly fill up to get the e-certificate. Thank you all for your active participation. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you all once again.